Fair use act, nigga.
There is nothing wrong with your television set.
Take the children and yourself and hide out in the cellar. By now the fighting will be close at hand.
Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission.
Don't believe the church and state and everything they tell you. Believe in me, I'm with the high command.
If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume.
Never had a doubt in the beginning, never a doubt. Trusted you true. Better you should pray to God, the Father and the Spirit will guide you and protect you from up here.
If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper.
You made me promises, promises, knowing I'd believe. Swore allegiance to the flag, whatever flag they offer. Never hint at what you really feel.
We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical.
Second time around, I'm still believing the words that you said. Teach the children quietly, for someday sons and daughters will rise up and fight while we stood still.
We can roll the image, make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur, or sharpen it to crystal clarity.
Why do I believe?
For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear.
Why do I believe all of your promises? You knew you'd never keep. Why do I believe?
We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television set. You are about to participate in a great adventure.
Sold as improving health through technology, but it's really about dystopian government surveillance and control.
We're about to launch one of the biggest advertising campaigns in HHS history to encourage Americans to use wearables. It's a way of people can take control over their own health. They can take responsibility. They can see, as you know, what food is doing to their glucose levels, their heart rates, and a number of other metrics as they eat it. And they can begin to make good judgments about their diet, about their physical activity, about the way that they live their lives.
Maha has turned out to be a Trojan horse. It's just, I don't know if you saw this. Kennedy just came out and he said his vision for everybody in America is they have a wearable, which means he's the Judas goat walking everybody into the control grid.
We think that wearables are a key to the Maha agenda, making America healthy again. And we are going to, my vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
Any hope that he was playing an inside game? My hope was he was playing an inside game and sort of making compromises so he could get something done. But what he's trying to, he and Elon Musk are having a competition for who can get the most people into the control grid the fastest.
I'm curious, where are the other companies other than Pfizer? Are you expecting them to come along later?
They're all with us, and I was honored to have Albert be the first. He's done a fantastic job with, as you know, with the COVID. He did a fantastic job with a lot of things. He's a leader, and Pfizer is right at the top. You know, it's there. Eli Lilly has been fantastic also, your friend. my friend. And they're all coming in over the next week. We're making deals with all of them.
A Judas goat, you'll train a goat to walk all the sheep into the slaughterhouse. So here's the slaughterhouse. The Judas goat kind of walks in, and right at the end, he turns, and then the sheep go into the slaughterhouse. So his job is to steer people, and so I was hoping Kennedy was playing an inside game, but he's, based on what he said the other day, he's the Judas goat. And he and Musk are having a competition, I think, for making the control grid fashionable.
Yeah.
So
A couple of weeks.
For nearly 150 years, my company, Eli Lilly, has been investing in America. We've been advancing science and creating high-value jobs. But today, are you okay? Gordon, you okay? Yeah.
That any American for 1 second thought that RFK Jr. wouldn't lead America into a technocratic surveillance, all-encompassing control grid under the banner of MAHA, or Make America Healthy Again, is absolutely astounding to me. This is one of the recent posts by Secretary Kennedy. He said, "Today I spoke with America's tech leaders," we'll go over that in a second, "about how innovation is transforming access to health information. Make America Healthy Again is helping people get and stay healthy by harnessing technology to deliver personalized, real-time insights that empower better health decisions." As some of you may already know, RFK Jr.'s post refers to the inaugural Make America Healthy Again summit that just took place on November 12th, 2025 in Washington's District of Criminals. It was an invitation-only event that he helped to organize as the HHS secretary. He discussed with biotech and tech executives from Google, Neuralink, Regeneron, CRISPR Therapeutics, and Walmart how innovations like AI, telehealth, and biohacking can democratize health and health data for, quote, personalized real-time insights. We're talking about wearables tracking nutrition, fitness, and age reversal.
My vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
They claim that the goal was to, quote, empower individuals to make proactive choices amid MAHA's anti-corporate food pharma push. So somebody riddle me this. How can you be anti-corporate and anti-pharma when you're hooking up with companies like Google, CRISPR Technologies, and Walmart? And surveillance concerns aren't unfounded. Critics note that this could evolve into aggregated biodata collection via apps and devices for nudges on behavior, which definitely echoes China's social credit model if it's tied to policy incentives. And of course, proponents frame it as voluntary empowerment, not mandates. And they say it aligns with RFK's privacy advocacy. You don't have to be concerned about a social credit system. I mean, that's why we're kind of partnering with Google, Neuralink, and Regeneron. They don't want social credit scores. Catherine Austin Fitts from the Solari Report reposted this and said, MAHA is promoting the integration of the digital control grid on and into the human body and brain. Just watched one presentation on the MAHA meeting in DC saying that this is okay with informed consent. She says informed consent means you warn your followers that this technology can be used to mind control you or your children. It means you warn them it can be part of the ability to turn your money on and off if you don't do what your social credit rules require. It means they warn you that you are embracing a slave system, one in which you can and will lose your sovereignty and all your human and constitutional rights. Catherine Austin Fitts continues, the WEF, or World Economic Forum, says it's 2030 and you have no assets and you are happy. That means it's 2030, constitutional government has been ended by the coup, and your embrace of this technology has stripped you of your assets and mind controlled you. RFK is sweet talking you into the slaughterhouse. The Maha inclusion propaganda is as bad as the DEI and LGBTQ inclusion propaganda. Too bad we all had high hopes. I really like and have benefited from Catherine's work, but nobody who's thinking clearly had any high hopes for any administrative official in any administration ever. I don't care if you're talking about left or right. And as bad as DEI and LGBTQ, I would say a 100% all-encompassing surveillance police state apparatus, complete with digital health monitoring 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, tied to a social credit score where you could have your money turned on and off, is far worse than DEI LGBTQ inclusion propaganda. Whitney Webb says, surveillance and biodata mining isn't health. Hope your big fans are finally hip to the fraud. Mary Talley Bowden says, pull the MRA shots off the market. Augustina says, we did not vote for the technocracy, traitor. Some of us don't vote for the chains of our own oppression at all. You sold us out to Palantir. Shame on you. Really, guys, did you not expect that this would happen? Why did you not expect this would happen? And Based in Colorado says, Maha doesn't want wearables. We want mRNA injections off the market, fluoride out of the water, chemtrails out of the sky, and glyphosate and GMOs out of the food. 100% agree. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comments section below.
What kind of humiliating stuff are we talking about? Well, one of the leaked emails lays it out right here. You've got Jeffrey Epstein's own brother casually joking about whether Putin has photos of Trump blowing Bubba, in quotes. Now, as we know, Bubba is Bill Clinton's nickname, sounding like a generic rape scene in a movie. Bubba. That's insane. Back and forth in emails talking about blowjobs like it's normal breakfast table conversation. Who would have known? I mean, it wasn't Monica Lewinsky under that desk. It was Trump. So not only is Trump funding the Iron Dome in Israel, he's also giving a good old-fashioned American Iron Dome in the White House. Oh, Bubba. Then in the same thread, they're talking about Trump and Epstein making a remake of Get Hard, the movie. And what happened in that movie, Get Hard? Well, it was a comedy about a clueless rich guy getting prepped for prison by someone that didn't know much about prison. And in the real world, they're laughing about who would play who. Well, you don't need a professional analyst for this one. Let's check out the main characters here, Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart, having a little back and forth. Kevin Hart being Epstein here, and Will Ferrell is, of course, Donald Trump. Check this out.
I mean, frankly, I don't feel like you're giving me 100%. And as your incarceration expert, that concerns me. Because it's my job to prepare you. Fortunately, I got a plan.
Oh, thank God. Oh, that's good.
You're gonna learn how to suck dick.
Because that's how you survived.
No, you shut your mouth. No, it is not. I survived with these.
Dual hand jobs.
No. I kill with these. That's the difference between me and you. Hence, why you need to suck a dick. Come on, man.
Where am I gonna find someone who...
It's not looking good for the Trumper, folks. Here's a tweet I like to refer to as if Trump was honest. You can read it for yourself. Explicit, I know. Well, folks, I guess that's what he meant by draining the swamp. The MAGA crowd trying to cope but he didn't swallow, right? Donald J. Lewinsky, folks. Compromised puppet of Israel. You know damn well Netanyahu got some of this on camera too. Okay, soon they'll ask Trump to nuke Iran or else they'll release all the footage. Maybe this leak was just to humiliate Trump because he didn't do everything Israel asked for fast enough. Now they're hanging the tapes of Trump and Bubba over Trump's head like, do as we say or the footage is coming out. That's what happens when you think you're part of the club, but you're actually a pawn. They don't care about you. They'll kill their own if they have to. To achieve that greater Israel project, nobody's above the plan, okay? The Epstein list and the genocide in Gaza are connected because the US president won't challenge Israel. He's compromised. Loyalty doesn't matter when someone owns you. And now US intelligence caught Israeli officials talking about sending Palestinians into booby-trapped tunnels as human shields. Okay? The Biden White House panicked. I mean, their lawyers scrambled over whether this crossed into war crimes. And the IDF denied everything while quietly investigating suspicions inside their ranks when we know exactly what was going on. Israeli lawyers even warned there was enough evidence for war crimes charges, which would force the US to stop sending weapons. But American officials decided these were isolated incidents, so they didn't have to change anything. And while the death toll keeps rising and Washington keeps sending the shipments, everyone acts like they can't see what's right in front of them, because admitting it would blow up more than tunnels. A hunt is real, people. I'm talking about both what's happening in real life and that movie that came out in 2020. It wasn't just a movie, all right? Let's talk about the kind of evil the public is not supposed to even know exists. The kind of evil that makes even the darkest conspiracies look soft. Because Italy just opened up a criminal investigation into something so insane that if you put it in a movie, people would call it unrealistic. They are investigating claims that during the Bosnian War in the 1990s, rich people flew to Sarajevo on weekend sniper safaris where they paid to shoot civilians for fun. You heard that right, safaris, people. Not for lions, not for antelope, for human beings trying to survive the longest siege of a capital city in modern European history. Not a rumor anymore, folks. It's been exposed that Milan prosecutors are charging it as murder aggravated by cruelty and despicable motives. That is a legal category reserved for monsters. 5 suspects are already identified, including a plastic surgery clinic owner from Milan. These weren't just some drunk lunatics. These were wealthy businessmen, respectable, in quotes, people. The same people who donate to political parties and sit on charity boards. And this new investigation lays out the structure of the whole operation. It wasn't random and it wasn't chaotic. It was organized. Every Friday, some of these freaks would meet in Trieste, hop on a Yugoslav or Serbian airline called Aviogenex, get flown into the hills above Sarajevo, and pay Bosnian Serb militias loyal to Radovan Karadzic to shoot civilians. They even had a price list. I mean, the levels of evil is otherworldly, okay? Children costed the most. Men next, women after that. Elderly were free. That was the deal. This wasn't just killing, it was a business model. A Bosnian intelligence officer testified that they discovered the flights and told Italian intelligence, "Seize me," in early 1994. "Seize me" eventually responded that they put a stop to it, end quote. Which means one thing, they knew it was real. If it wasn't real, you don't put a stop to anything. Try to comprehend that. Children costed the most if they wanted to go on human hunt safaris for children. And then you have survivors confirming the pattern. Weekends at Sarajevo were always the most dangerous. That lines up exactly with the flights from Trieste. One survivor said his 9-year-old brother was sniped dead while playing tennis, and that they will never know if the shooter was one of these foreign tourists. Meanwhile, Bosnia's investigation stalled decades ago. Yeah, totally shocking. Nobody in power ever rushes to expose these demons in charge who pay $100,000 to kill poor people. But it wasn't just Italians. Documentary footage from the time shows Russian ultra-nationalist Eduard Limonov firing a machine gun into Sarajevo with Karadzic standing next to him. A U.S. Marine testified in The Hague in 2007 that he witnessed what he called tourist shooters being escorted by Serb fighters, not regular shooters, not uniformed forces, some rich, wealthy, demonic people. So now we have Italy confirming it. We have survivors confirming it. We have intelligence reports confirming it as well. And we have film footage confirming it now too. Okay, we have testimony confirming it. At this point, the only people trying to deny it are the same government that ran the region into the ground in the first place. And this is where it even gets darker, okay? Because the idea of wealthy elites hunting humans for sport isn't new. I mean, they do slip this into movies like predictive programming. Everyone knows that whatever they tell you is fiction in these movies for decades is a form of revelation of the method, okay? What they can't admit openly, they reveal in entertainment as just a movie. And the perfect example is the movie The Hunt. Think about what happened in real life. We just confirmed that this is really happening. This is what the people in charge have been doing. The Hunt was predictive programming. It was predictive because the demons in charge always tell you what they are doing. They hide the truth by pretending it's fiction, just like Squid Game, just like Hostel, just like every rich people hunt the poor story Hollywood pumps out. But this is how they confess. This is how they normalize the idea. Because what came out of Sarajevo is only what slipped through the cracks. Imagine what the world hasn't seen. Imagine the stuff still buried. If they allowed rich men to fly into these active war zones to shoot children for money, what do you think they're doing today with all those private islands and experimental tech they keep bragging about? We already know they ran global child trafficking networks. That's not a surprise anymore. Epstein wasn't just this one-off evil agenda they had running. Well, today on Well, Ain't That Some Shit, the same people who spent the last 5 years telling you a PCR test could let you know if you were infected with a virus, yet couldn't tell the difference between a papaya and a pandemic. The same demons who try to sell the masses on an idea of a deadly virus that came out of a Wuhan lab, swearing the only way to save our species was through a deadly injection. The same people who lie about basically everything, including fabricating historical events to paint themselves as the ultimate victims. These same geniuses are now out here diagnosing Hitler with a micropenis from beyond the grave. That's right, peeps. When their lies start falling apart and people actually start waking up and noticing, they don't correct anything. They don't step back and take some accountability for their garbage. Nope. They pull the most childish move imaginable. Hitler had a small dick. That's the level we're operating at now. Breaking news, everybody. I never thought I'd live to see the day where my entire timeline would be flooded with stories about Hitler's penis. And my favorite part here? Everyone, take a good look at the head scientist behind this groundbreaking study. Yep, there she is, folks. The woman who finally cracked the case on the Fuhrer's crotch. Just look at that facial expression right there. Ugh. I mean, so smug. That shit-eating grin like she just unlocked the secrets of the universe. As if humanity has been waiting all this time for her to deliver the sacred truth about Hitler's junk. It's insane. These people lie about everything that matters, and when they get cornered, they suddenly turn into middle schoolers pointing and yelling, "He had a tiny pecker." Well, ain't that some shit? The same people that were behind that study are also saying this now. Make of this what you will.
Jews built the left in this country. We built the labor movement. We broke the New Deal. 70% of the lawyers who worked on civil rights cases were Jews. We've been at the forefront of every liberal and leftist issue in this country. According to John Fetterman himself, his Zionism puts him out of step with the rest of his party, which, I'm sorry, only 13% stand with Israelis against the Palestinians. Zionism does not have a future in the American left. The Democratic Party's relationship with Zionism depends on whether it's willing to repudiate.
Did she think that was a plus there? Like we were going to be on her side? So she funded leftist organizations, destroyed the world with feminist garbage, LGBT, Black Lives Matter, every despicable leftist moral perversion group you could ever think of. I'm surprised she didn't say, "We invented porn." We invented gangster rap. We invented vaccines and seed oils and big pharma slop. Why don't you love us? It's like, lady, calm down. You're not making us like you with that, okay? But we put up sex shops in every corner. We opened up all these transgender clinics. We're like, stop, lady, stop it. You're making us a little, antiseptic.
So many people have noticed, I know I have, but in the past few years, something's just off with our food. especially when it comes to meat, whether it's from a restaurant or a grocery store. But if you haven't noticed and you don't know what I'm talking about, here's an example.
I bought this chicken at a local grocery store, and immediately it started falling apart as I was getting ready to bread it and put it in the fryer. It started.
And here's another one.
What would you do if somebody fed you a steak that was pure mush? That's the inside of the steak. The whole steak just turns to mush.
There was even a man in Florida this past July where the meat inside of his steak looked like chewing gum. Now, there's a few people out there that think that they know what this is, because when you bring up this subject, people's minds, including my own, go straight to lab grown because it just kind of makes sense. But the truth is, although it is approved, lab grown meat hasn't hit the shelves in the United States yet. Oh, in Canada, you might want to pay attention because this pertains to you too. But even when lab grown does hit the shelves, regulations are already in place for it to be labeled as cell cultivated meat. So at least you got some kind of idea of what you're buying. And that would mean technically lab grown couldn't be what we're seeing because this has been going on for a while now. So what is it? You ready for the clue? Well, it's none other than Tom Brady and his clone dog. See, cloning animals has been around for a while now. The first cloned sheep was back in 1996. But what the majority of people don't know is that the cloning of farm animals, especially livestock, has been going on for a long time. But what's a little more unsettling is that the FDA approved cloned meat to be sold to the American public back in 2008. And just to put that into perspective, it's been almost 20 years since then. That means there could be a farm that has a field full of cows that's essentially the same cow, just different edits. And speaking of edits, for me personally, that's the scariest part. See, gene editing and cloning go hand in hand. So with gene editing, when you clone something, you can either take away or add anything you want to the next embryo. In fact, that sort of thing is already happening with livestock. With pigs mostly. Now you would think with all the cloning and gene editing and messing with the DNA of the food that we're eating, there would be some kind of hint that we're buying this meat, right? Nope, not at all. It never has. The FDA says that cloned meat is the exact same as the original, so it doesn't even need a label. In Canada, get ready, because the same thing goes for you when it hits the shelves in the next couple of months. Now, if you're anything like me, when you start talking about clones, gene editing, DNA, and livestock, one name comes to mind. And that's Bill Gates and the massive amounts of farmland that he owns. Makes a whole lot of sense now, doesn't it? Oh, and the other name that comes to mind is China and the 380,000 acres of farmland they own here in the US. That and the super cows they were bragging about a couple years ago. But you know what? I'm probably just overthinking it, right? Stay safe.
Good morning. We have a fresh update on the Epstein-Kirk case.
Yeah, and TPUSA is absolutely covering up his murder.
Right. Thank God for Candace.
Straight up.
Tammy, take it away.
Chloe and Michael, good morning. We're here with producer Berg, and he is not happy about this episode, but we're going to have Candace on anyways.
We fired her for being antiseptic. Shut it down.
Do you want to know who was also asking a lot of questions? Charlie Kirk was asking a lot of questions towards the end of his life, right? He was asking questions, hitting hard about Jeffrey Epstein on his show.
Epstein with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, that there was something else going on here.
Shut it down! Jeffrey was a member of God's chosen people, and you're not allowed to ask questions about his ties to Israeli intelligence on my show. Shapiro-Stein, explain to the Goyim.
Thanks, fellow chosen person. Just because he was heavily funded by Zionists doesn't mean we hired Mossad to execute a JFK-level assassination on Charlie. Leader of the free world, take it away.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years.
And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
I was done with MAGA at the moment he looked us in the face and he said, "What files?" Right? What are we still talking about? Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah, who's still talking about Epstein, right, Ching Chong?
You're literally retarded. Candace, back to you.
You guys still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? We're now getting these emails, and it only further implicates this administration in an astounding cover-up. All of this, again, the truest victims being the children. We are a nation that is ruled by perverts. We are. We just are.
Bunch of perverts.
That's absolutely based, Candace. I think Charlie was saying something about this.
Roll the clip.
It's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation.
Shut it down! Fine, we may have blackmailed J. Edgar Hoover, the director of the FBI, to send weapons to Israel since before 1948, but that's none of your business.
Gosh, Charlie knew what he was talking about. Let's hear the official narrative from our government sources, the people who we love and trust so much.
What are you going to do about the Zionist blackmail?
I don't even know what Jeffrey Epstein means. Is that a noun or a verb? It was Tyler Robinson.
Israel.
That's anti-Semitic.
Trump's in the files, and Michael Obama is a dude.
Bergstein, go ahead.
Pam Bonnet, why are you letting people like Candace question her friend's assassination? Anti-Semites are starting to blame the Jews and we're victims. Oy vey.
We fabricated the furry trans lover. That person disappeared. We tried to force a confession. That didn't work either, so we're looking absolutely retarded, I know.
Straight up, like, didn't they run for office on the basis of exposing that?
Oh, yeah, QAnon.
I guess converting to Judaism and covering up Israeli trafficking rings is more important.
Right. But Israel is still our greatest ally.
Whatever you say, Daisy.
All right, John, stay focused. Just because Shapiro-Stein hired an OnlyFans model doesn't mean you should throw out your values. But at least we're not like the Christian Zionists at TPUSA, whose suspicious takeover of Charlie's company gives us the creeps.
Thanks, Ching Chong. Yeah, so Charlie's pastor, whose dad is a naval captain and assistant chief of staff for psychological warfare in the Navy, is the one trying to get his son to take over Charlie's spot, and I'm just not retarded enough to buy that.
If you don't, support Turning Point Faith, especially given this terrible thing that they're going through, these were his real friends, and there's something wrong with you. You're not godly, right? It's godly to accept the Fed narrative.
Now you're starting to get it. Just because you're the #1 podcast and nobody listens to me doesn't mean I can't gatekeep what people should or shouldn't say. I'd fire you again if I could. Back to you, stupid Goyam, and up yours, Candace.
Wow, thanks for that, Shapiro-Stein. And in other news, I'm still waiting on that raise from producer Berg.
You have been a good goyim lately.
Right?
Let's learn more about Daddy McCoy.
Now let's bring in Daddy McCoy. Wouldn't say he strikes me as something else entirely. And he similarly had some rather impeccable timing. Rob McCoy, as you very well know, was the senior pastor of the Godspeak Calvary Chapel in Thousand Oaks, California. His church was funded by the Wilkes brothers down in Texas. They are a part of what is described online as a cult. It's like Christians for Jews. You look into it yourself. I honestly can't explain it, but that's just something that you should know in the background.
Thanks, Candace. The guy seems sketchy. I agree.
Yeah, didn't he employ a known predator who lured children in by pretending he lost a cat?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Watch him rationalize it.
Yeah.
How long ago was this?
Like 28 years. 28 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
28 years ago. All right, go ahead.
Can we put this to rest, ladies and gentlemen? Can we put it to rest? Erica Kirk said that she believed they have a great team in Kesh Patel and the FBI.
And I'll see you in Valhalla.
She believed that Tyler Robinson killed her husband. And at his memorial service, she said she forgive him. Can you shut the front door about all these conspiracies around Charlie Kirk's death?
Absolutely not, Tatum.
Yeah, we're not buying your Hasbara propaganda.
Get out of here, Talmud Tatum.
Yeah, we're trying to listen to a real-ass
Candace, take it away.
So he's upset, and he goes on to talk about how people online who don't know the full story are digging stuff up, and like, this guy's really a good guy. And I'm going to have Camino actually explain what really happened that put him into prison. Let me know if you're buying this story that he's about to tell. Take a listen.
So this is like early 90s, a nice little beach community in Orange County.
and I get accused of a crime that I did not commit. It's a falsely accused. It's an underage girl thing.
Prosecutor said he approached young girls, lured them into secluded spots such as a riverbed and the basement of a house by asking them to find his cat.
They bring this girl and they film an interview. And it's this interview where the kid doesn't care what she's saying. She's not upset. She thinks she's waiting for her mom in a dentist office. Eventually, they get her to say that there was some inappropriate touching on that.
Bro molested children and denies it.
Where's a millstone when you need one?
Back to you, Candace.
Camino grabbed the girl's hand and forced her to touch him. We're talking about third graders, not toddlers whose memories might be iffy, who might have difficulty communicating things, might not find the right words, might not be sure of themselves, but 8-year-olds who are fully online mentally.
This whole thing is a total sham.
They say they have footprints and forensic evidence, and they have 17 specific items that they're looking for. They get 11 of them. So I did 1,536 days for a crime that I didn't commit.
They found 11 out of 17 items related to the investigation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like total accident. What a creep.
Yeah, lock him up again for lying. What an insult to all the minors he lured into basements to touch, right?
I'd like to lure him into a basement, if you know what I mean.
Maybe if you stopped eating goy slop and could say Christ is king, I'd believe you.
But tolerance is strength.
Introducing the all-new Goyslop Junior Filet. Die of diabetes.
I hate myself.
Goyslop Junior.
Because tolerance is strength.
So it's just all one big conspiracy that involved 2 counties, neighborhoods filled with parents and children. A witness who still to this day remembers and emailed me to remind me about this, people who posted and said this is absurd and brought it forward into Rob's church and said it's absurd that you are allowing him to be around youth despite his record. Also his ex-wife and the appellate court.
Shut it down, Candace. Pedophilia is not pertinent to the discussion. Now, back to blaming Christians. It has nothing to do with us. You just hate Jews.
The CIA implications of who exactly started the Calvary Chapel, Chuck Smith is his name. The implications here, when you look at all of the military characters that are involved, really have me asking a lot of questions.
Nobody asks questions without us shutting it down. Do you want to end up like JFK, Jackie, or your good friend Charlie Kirkberg, the Jew lover?
That's right, Producer Berg. How about we mass strike her YouTube account and smear her on the ADL? That'll teach her not to question things. And by the way, I despise all of you people.
Isn't that cute? Shapiro-Stein believes the FBI and CIA narrative. Remind me again, what are your sources?
My sources are the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, Dan Bongino, the Deputy Head of the FBI, and Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. And those aren't just my sources. They're everybody's sources because they publicly came out and said this.
Wow. Poor guy is like really retarded.
That's based. Ching chong.
Okay, now let's get back to talking about Mikey, also known as the Chief of Staff, or Rob, the lying pastor's son.
And my husband's Chief of Staff, the amazing Mikey McCoy.
My friend Mikey McCoy, the brilliant 24-year-old who at the time when Charlie was shot was 23 and was a hero that day.
I used to be known as Charlie Kirk's pastor, now I'm known as Mikey McCoy's dad. The minute Charlie was shot, he called me, says, Dad, Charlie's been shot in the neck. Please call every pastor and pray. I said, okay, son. He has wits about him. He was just directing. He had blood all over him. And
there's the first lie.
Yeah, he literally dipped off mid-phone call and won't give out his call logs.
What a coward.
Except Mikey did not have blood anywhere near him because Mikey was behind the tent when Charlie got shot.
I want to address something. The stupidity of the internet. Oh, signals? Really? You're going to put that garbage out that they were giving hand signals?
I don't know, man. It kind of looked like hand signals.
Real.
I guess we're the crazy ones.
That was Frank Turek. He was covered in blood because he was giving Charlie CPR.
And false.
Looks like lie number 2.
Literally nobody followed protocol on addressing a gun wound. Nobody.
let's see what the normies think of Mikey fleeing his buddy after he got assassinated in public.
And then you see more and more that they're taking the body and bringing it into the van, and he's all the way over there on the phone.
It was Charlie's dream to always go to Asia, and Blake and I got the gift of being able to tag along for that. And so I brought the camera with me. I've never traveled with a camera before, but I decided, it'd be a good idea to mic Charlie up, do some content with him while we're there. I
don't see this intrinsic evil when I look at Mikey McCoy's eyes. But, however, I do think he was hyped. Okay. I think Mikey was promised or told or encouraged that he would become the new Charlie. And it is a fact that was the number one sentiment that we received from our Turning Point USA insiders following Charlie's assassination.
Shut it down, Candace. If you don't get the heck off my show, you're getting the Jackie treatments. I'm this close. You really want to test me?
So cranky.
Jeez, okay, Producer Berg says we got to shut it down or I'm not getting that raise.
Come on. We didn't even get to the Boyers or Andrew Colvett yet.
It's so antiseptic. Stop mentioning Israel.
When did you become such a pussy?
You're right.
Bussa.
I think I might have unfollowed Jake GTV because I feel absolutely retarded.
Jeffrey Epstein was not a financier. He was not a hedge fund manager. Jeffrey Epstein was a key player in a multi-decade blackmail operation against the most powerful people on the planet.